Hey there, it's Kathy with Be Creative with Kathy, and in this video I'm going to show you how we put together March's Stamp Club cards. So if you're part of Stamp Club, you should have got your packets in the mail. It looks like this, and you always get that third card that I make for you. If you're not familiar with Stamp Club and you still want a packet, all you have to do is place a $30 order at my online store using March's host code, and then I will send you a packet. And that's a $30 order before shipping and tax. Like I said, I'll send you a packet. So in your packet, like I showed you before, there's a card that I made for you. Looks like that. And then you have a packet that looks like this. We always use a bundle for 2 months. So for the month of March and April, we'll be using the Hello Ladybug bundle. Now this is a punch bundle, so you'll need the punch and the stamp set. And then for if you're a part of club, at the beginning of the month I usually send a supply list, and you can see what you need. But in this case, you can watch the video and see what you'll need too. So let's go on. So in your packet, if you pull on the ribbon here, presto, you have 3 pieces of cardstock in there. Now there is a real red, a basic white, and a basic black. These 3 pieces are for making your ladybugs. Now it's way more cardstock than you'll need for the 2 cards that we're gonna make today, but I thought that way if you wanted to play, or if you wanted to make some more ladybugs, you have lots of paper to play with. And then the piece of ribbon, we're gonna set that aside. We're gonna use that on the second card, or the easiest card from today's packet. So we're going to take, and there's 2 cards now. This is 1 card, and if you turn the packet over, this is another. So we're going to start with this green card. I'm going to grab the green or mossy meadow card base and everything on top of that, and we need these 2 foam strips right here. Okay, so we're going to start first with this piece of designer series paper. Now your paper, let me see if I have another piece, is going to look a little bit different than mine. For your card packets, ran out of packets that have this kind of paper. This is from the New Horizons. This is from the Beautiful Tree. So your packet will have a piece of cardstock that, or designer series paper, that looks like this, but I'm going to use this piece for my video today. Now this is, like I said, the Beautiful Trees, and we're going to stamp on there. And the Beautiful Tree works just as well as the Horizons. It's just got a little bit less green on there. But we're also going to use, and I put it in the supply video, that you need a stamp set that has some grass and a stem. And now I'm going to use this Wildflower Path and some Mossy Meadow ink. And along the bottom of my designer series paper, which I have cut from the Give Me a Whirl dies. Most of the pieces that I cut are from that die set. Although as I go, I'll show you the other dies that I use too for your packets. But I'm going to just ink up some of that grass there, and I'm going to stamp some full force, some secondhand stamping, and just cover the bottom of my designer series paper here, so that it has a very, I guess we'll call it grassy bottom. Yep. Sometimes I'm going to stamp off, sometimes I'm not, and just give it, yeah, look how cute that grass is coming along. I think that looks pretty good. Now, in your packet too, you'll have a piece of basic white. Oh, there's 2 in this packet. Boy, this packet's something else, let me tell you. But on the inside of your card, a piece of basic white. This is 5.5 or 5 1/4 by 4. We're going to do the same thing, or at least I am. This is your packet. You can do what you want, but I'm going to stamp along the bottom of this piece too, just to bring that front inside of the card. And that 2-step stamping off, or stamping full strength, will give it a little bit of variety to color and such. And I think just 2 more stamps here and I'm happy, but I want a nice grassy bottom to my card, so it looks like that. And then on this piece, I'm going to take this stamp of the stamp set right here, the one that kind of has a place that you can put the flower on the top, and I'm going to ink that up in that mossy meadow and stamp it right under this hole that the die set put onto our card or our designer series paper. And so you know this card was not my idea. I have to give all thanks. I cased it from the, let me see her name, Creative Treehouse. So if you want to go check out her video, she put her card together just a little bit different than I did, but I totally got the idea from her. Okay, now we have this piece, these pieces. I'm going to set the inside aside. We don't need that for now. We need to work on the front of our card. So in your little packet of goodies here, you have a brad and some magnets, and they're probably stuck together. So I'm going to pull just those two things out, just so I don't lose everything else in this bag. And take my brad and magnet, set them there. And these two little flowers. Now these are basic white, punched out from the medium daisy punch. And I'm going to take first thing and just glue those two together. So a little bit of liquid glue in the center. And just put those two to make one really full. Now with that glue, you can kind of slip it around and get it where you want it. There we go. And now you have a really pretty full daisy. Okay, so now we need to attach this daisy to the front of our card, and there's two ways you can do that. I'm going to glue the daisy. I want the daisy totally flat to my card, so I could go ahead and put glue on the back on every petal and put it here, and then turn it over and put my pierce tool through that hole, right? The hole that the dies cut in the paper for me. Or I'm going to just do it. It might be more perfect that way, but I'm going to just take a little mat here, and I'm going to just try to find the center of that flower with the piercing tool on my take a pick tool, and now I just have a hole. And it might not be perfect, but I think it's going to work just fine that way. Then I'm going to take that brad, don't lose my magnets, and put that through the flower. Now I'm not going to take the prongs, I'm not going to do anything to the prongs, they're just sticking up like that. But now, very, very little, I'm going to put a little bit of glue, of this liquid glue, little tiny dots on each petal, because later I don't want our petals to get in the way of our flying ladybug. So just like that. Now I have, if you can see, maybe you can't, all the glue on my petals, and I'm going to take that and put it through my designer series paper. And then this way I can slide my flower around so it looks really nice on my stem. I like it right there, so I'm going to turn it over and put some pressure on the back and make sure that that sticks down to my card base. And now it looks like, or my designer series paper, or the front of my card, right? So I'm going to set that aside for now. I'm even going to take my magnets and I'm going to just stick them on my brad so I don't lose them. Two other pieces in your packet look like this. This is thick basic white, and this is just basic white. This is a die from that Give It a Whirl die, and this is just the largest scallop circle from the layering circle dies. Now on the back of this one, you can see that I've drawn a circle on there. And I'm going to take one of the two foam strips that are in your kit, the whole thing, all 9 inches, and I'm going to set it on the inside of that circle all the way around. Now, unlike a shaker card, this doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to meet at the ends. We just want to make sure that it stays on the inside of that circle so that when you're all done, hang on, let me finish up here real quick. See, and mine, in fact, here has a little bit extra here, so I'm going to just take, see how there's too much of my foam tape or my foam strip? I'm going to take my scissors and cut that off and throw that in the trash. Now what I was saying is, if it doesn't meet here perfect, it's not a shaker card, it doesn't matter if it doesn't meet perfect at the end. We just want to make sure that this scallop circle covers that foam strip completely, which mine does, so I'm happy. Okay, now I'm going to take a glue dot here, And now we just finished our Zoom meeting, and for some people it was easier to take the magnet and put it on the glue dot and put the glue dot here. But for me, it's easier to take that glue dot, and I'm gonna pluck it off. Now watch, oh, yep, with my piercing tool, and I'm gonna lay it here about 1/4 of an inch away from the foam strip. So I don't know if you can see my little glue dot right here, and it's about 1/4 of an inch from the side. You'll be able to see easier when I put that magnet on there. So one of the magnets, I'm gonna try to separate them here. I'm gonna put one magnet back down to save it for later, and one magnet I'm gonna put on that glue dot like that. Okay, so now take this piece. Well, in fact, I'm serious, I'm not gonna lose I'm gonna leave my magnet right there on my brad, but we're gonna take our brad. So this is the back, and we're gonna take the front and put it through with that brad. Okay, and then go ahead and open up your brad in the back, and then just for good measure, let's see if our piece moves. Now, if your piece moves, yay, so far we're doing really good. I'm gonna flatten this down just a little bit more, make sure, test it again, make sure it still moves. See how my piece moves here? That's a good thing. So now I'm gonna take that extra magnet, or the second magnet that was on my brad, and I'm gonna find, there, did you see how it did that? I'm gonna find that magnet, so now the two magnets are stuck together. And here's where you do the second test. Make sure that magnet goes all the way around and doesn't get stuck on anything, then you're in good shape. Now, if your magnet gets stuck on something and you need to move this magnet out a little bit, you can do so now. You just pick it off of there with the glue dot and move it out a little bit and make it closer to your foam strip. And then you go back and test it again, just like I did now. But it looks good, mine works just fine. So now I'm gonna take the paper backing off of that foam strip, and I'm gonna lay this scallop circle on there, making sure that none of the sticky side shows. Lay that firm. And now, just because I'm a little paranoid, I'm gonna test it one more time. Yep, we're still fine. So now I'm gonna take that second strip that you got in your kit, this, I'm gonna lay it up here at the very top, along that top, and then cut it to size, and then do the same thing down here at the very bottom and cut it to size like that. And then this little piece that's left over, I'm gonna just lay it here. And now I've made sure that none of my foam strips have touched my circle. Test it one more time. Yes, my circle still moves, so I'm in good shape, right? So bring back in that card base. I'm gonna remove the backing. Well, before I remove the backing, let me show you. So my card front is a little bit smaller, of course, than my card base, but I'm gonna line up the the left side and the top and bottom and give a little bit more room over here, so I have a place to put my little arrow. See how the arrow fits right here? So I'm gonna make sure that I put my card front a little bit to the left. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Go like this, take those backings off again. And then lay that on my card. Like I said, I'm gonna like it a little bit more to the left, and it looks like that. I guess I should have brought my other card in so you could have it as reference the whole time. Oh well, here we go. Okay, so check it one more time. Everything still moves just how we want it. It doesn't really sag. Now you could have, if you had extra foam strips of your own, you probably could have put it on the sides of the card. I don't think you really need it, and it doesn't really sag with just what I put on there, but there, that's good to know. Okay, so also in your little bag of goodies, let's just dump everything out now, with the exception of these 3 little yellow resins. We'll need those for next card. Okay, so we're gonna take another glue dot here and put it right there on that brad. This, and just add this little blingy circle. Now this is a little bit of that rainbow glimmer paper, and I just used a retired hole punch. It's a 1/2 inch punch, and I punched out to put on the center of my flower. One more time, just check. Yep, we're still all good. Okay, let's do some stamping. So for my butterfly, we're gonna stamp the butterfly now. You can have a butterfly that looks like this, or you can have a butterfly that looks like this. Now this butterfly, what I did was I took and I stamped it 2 steps. I stamped it in red and I stamped it in black, and I stamped his body in black. So it would look like this, right? These 2 pieces, or these 2 stamps here. And then I just punched them out with the punch. And this is on those 3 pieces of paper that you got in your packet that are for the ladybug. Now, I'm not gonna do it this way, I'm gonna do it this way. So I'm gonna just take my punch, and I'm gonna punch out a ladybug's body from, you see that? It slid right through there. From the black, like that. And then from that red, I'm gonna just take and punch a set of wings like this. There we go. Get rid of some little extra pieces here of cardstock. Now, like I said, when I put them here, it's really important that you put the, or stamp the images just like this. That way you'll be able to punch them out with the punch on both of them. So that's a good hint right there. Maybe take a picture if that's how you're gonna do your ladybugs. This is for later. We'll use that one for later, the next card. But now on this little set of wings, using this stamp set right here, I'm gonna just ink that up in some black memento ink. And where's my foam mat here? And I'm gonna stamp those, let me turn this around, right here onto my wings. And I'm gonna let that ink sink in, get a nice dark image. It looks like that. Aren't those cute? And then while I'm at it with the black ink on this little piece of paper here, this is die cut with the stitched, sweetly stitched dies. So if you're looking for that, sweetly stitched dies and that little hello from the stamp set, I'm gonna stamp that in black right here on that blue piece. Okay, let's put the lid. I've got all my pieces and parts here. I have my black matte dots, which are from, maybe I can't find those. Yep, here they are. The matte black dots. The little arrows here are from the Give It a Whirl dies again, and now I have put adhesive backing on this. So I've used adhesive sheets on the piece of cardstock before I ran those through the die cut. So really, those are stickers. But let's make our our ladybug here. So I saw Rachel Tessman. I think she did the best way ever to put the little ladybug together. I'm gonna take some mini dimensionals. Now, if you don't have mini dimensionals, a half standard dimensional will work, but I'm gonna put it on the side of each of his body, and then I'm gonna take a glue dot and I'm gonna put it right in the center up by the neck of those wings. So let's see if I can show you on the camera where my little glue dots. Can you see the little glue dot? Yeah, maybe not. But now, let me take those backs off. When you put your ladybug together, and it's got it stuck down here, but it gives those wings a little bit of depth, and look how cute that little ladybug is. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish our card, because now we have the card base looks like this. On this magnet right here, I'm gonna take a standard dimensional, and I'm gonna put it right on top of that magnet. Take the adhesive backing off, and I'm gonna put kind of in the center. I'm gonna try to get it in the center of my ladybug, just like that. Now, you can go ahead and take the magnet off. Trust me, it's gonna find that other magnet And so it's not a problem now. And you can check, I think my magnet's not in the great or like the perfect position, but it's pretty good. So I'm happy. I'm going to leave it like that. If you weren't happy, all you'd have to do is move it around a little bit and redo it. The reason I like to do it when the magnet is here is because if you got that magnet turned over, then it wouldn't stick to your card anymore. Let's do a test run. Make sure. Yep, look at my little Ladybug go clean around that flower. Really cute card. Okay, so this little blue hello, I'm going to just take some tape runner and put that down here in the grass. And then those two little dots, I'm going to put one on each side. It makes it kind of look like there's a Brad going through our greeting, holding on to our card. Like that. I don't think they're straight, but I think they're good enough. Looks pretty good. And then last but not least, like I said, where did my little arrows go? You have two arrows here. One, so you know, would go like this. And if the other one would point up like this. Now, I like the arrow that's kind of curved. I'm going to use this one. And like I said, it's a sticker, so you can tell which is the front. And we're going to remove that adhesive backing, which might be the hardest part of this whole card, is to get that backing off that little, nope, looky, there we go. I discovered I tried to glue the little arrows on without the adhesive sheets. I tried lots of things, but if you want your little arrows to stay put, adhesive sheets are the only way to go. So there you go. Looks just like that. So really your card will look like this because you're using this designer series paper, and like I said, when your packets, that's what the designer series paper looks like. But we need to hurry, and then this of course will go on the inside like that. Okay, so that there is card number 1. Let's go on to card number 2. So I'm take all these pieces out and everything on top of the red card base. The ribbon, the first thing we need to do is take our ribbon, and I'm going to use some dark Daffodil Delight blends. And now let's see if I have the right. I have one that, look how awful that tip looks. But this is the best kind of marker, never throw them away, to use on your ribbon. When it gets weak, I guess I just store it with that tip end down, and it's the best. You don't have to worry about ruining the tip because the tip is already ruined, and I can just color my ribbon with that big tip that has now been, really it's the paintbrush tip that's been ruined. It's been loved and used. He's probably on his last row, on his last leg, there we go. But he still colors the ribbon nicely. And like I said, when I store him, most of my blends I store flat or on their side, but this one, when I need him to color my ribbon, I'll totally store him with that brush tip down, so then all the ink seeps into this tip and I can color my ribbon that now looks like that. While that's drying, which won't take very long, I'm going to take my designer series paper. Now you could do it this way, but I totally like those checks on there, so I'm going to put my adhesive on the yellow side and put this down right here onto my basic black piece. It looks like that. And then take our ribbon, and it should be long enough that you can tie a bow. So I'm going to take, now we'll see if I can tie a bow on camera. That might be a whole different thing, but I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to take my ribbon here. And really, I discovered that I like the bows that look awful or wonky or awkward. Those bows to me on this card look really good. So I'm going to try. Oh, and this is good because it's loose. So let me show you a trick here, or a tip. So I have my bow on there. It's not quite as tight as I'd like to have it on the front of my card, although really now that I look at it, it's pretty good. But all you have to do is turn it over. Well, wait, let's wait. We'll do that at the end because I want to see where I want my ribbon to be first. So before I put it on, I'll show you how to fix that problem. Let's do some stamping really quick. So I'm going to stamp on this white circle. Both of these were cut with my layering circle dies. I have a 1/2 inch just scrap here of of Daffodil Delight, and I have the inside of my card, which is your normal 5 1/4 by 4. I'm going to stamp on all of those, and I'm going to bring in that large scrap of white that are for my ladybugs. Okay, I'm going to use the stamps in the stamp set. So I'm going to use this stamp, and I'm going to use you can bug me anytime, that stamp there. Okay, this is the inside of my card. I'm going to make sure that it's not landscape. What's the other one called that I can't come up with right now? Because my card goes, let me bring my card in so you can see that too, this way. And I'm going to stamp that little ladybug in just some black Memento ink. There, let that ink sink in and get a nice dark image. There we go. And then just on my scrap here, I'm going to do the same thing and just hold and stamp that little guy. There we go. Now with some real red ink, let me put this away for just a second. Now with some real red ink, I'm going to stamp the color onto his body. Now let me tell you, if you struggle to get your color in the right place, you might need to stamp your color first and then line your body up on that. I would practice both ways and see which way works better for you. But I'm going to hover a little bit here and get my dots lined up, and looky there how cute he's going to turn out. I'm letting that ink sink in. It's a pretty solid image, and there you go. Now it's not perfect, but I think it looks pretty good, and I'm happy. So let's do the same thing to the inside of our card. Just put a little bit of red. Whoop, let me get in the camera here. A little bit of red on that ladybug body. There we go. Like I said, it's a little bit off, but not too much that it bothers me. I think I'm happy. If I wasn't happy, all I'd have to do is turn it over and do it again. I'm going to set that aside for later. On this yellow strip here, with that black Memento ink, and that you can bug me anytime. I think that's what it says. Yep. I'm going to ink that just smack dab here in the center of my yellow piece. Try to get it straight. Doesn't have to be perfect. There's lots of extra there. There we go. And then with some Granny Apple green ink and this circle, I'm going to stamp that big leaf in the center or on my circle. And it's a tight fit, so thank goodness we're using photopolymer, and I can see through to stamp it onto that circle. There we go. And once again, I'm going to let it sit there, let that ink sink in. I'm going to clean up a little bit too so I have some room to work. Okay. There we go. Now I think we're done stamping. I'm going to take my strip of yellow here that's been stamped on, and I'm going to just put a little bit of tape runner on the back. And now I want, get my sample out here so we can see what we're doing, because we're going to put the strip on my leaf, but I want to make sure that I see the stem, because I want the recipient of my card to realize that that's a leaf there. So I'm going to lay it about there, right? Then I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to cut that yellow to match my circle. So now my circle looks like that. Then with just a little bit of liquid glue, and now I'm using liquid glue because the border on this circle and the scallop circle is so small, I think it's easier to use liquid glue, and then you can kind of slip it into place. So that, and then it looks like that. It's cute, right? Okay, now we have the inside of our card and our scrap. We do have to fussy cut this little ladybug right here. And when I say fussy cut, all I mean is we're going to give it like a little white border around the edge and just take our time and cut that little ladybug from the big piece. It's easier if you hold your scissors still and move your paper, but it shouldn't take. Oh, and you know what I forgot to do between cards? Like I said I was going to do, I said I was going to show you the specials, but I think I'm going to just post the specials on our Facebook page. Did I already say that too? I get in card mode and can't remember what I've said and what I haven't said. Okay, so I just get around the little antlers now. Wasn't too bad. Around the little. Okay, almost done. And there you go. So there's your little ladybug. I'm going to take a couple dimensionals, and these are just the standard dimensionals, and set them on it. And I'm going to put him toward the edge of my circle so you can see as much leaf of that. I want to see a lot of that leaf if I can. Okay, a couple dimensionals on the back of the, and I'm going to put them all on the top. I'm going to put 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom, and that way I can move that ribbon where I want it. So this way the ribbon's going to go in between here, and I can move that ribbon around on my card front and get it perfectly where I want it. And then I can fix my ribbon, show you how to fix your ribbon to make it really tight. Okay, so we got our little guy here. In fact, already I want to move it down a little bit. And I'm going to put him there. Now he can still slide up and down. If I needed to, I could slide him. In fact, I want it about there. I think that's exactly where I want my bow on my card. It looks pretty good here too. So on the back of it with my Scotch tape here, I'm going to just pull that ribbon and tape it into place where I want it. Now you can see it has a slight buckle right here, but that doesn't matter because that's the back. No one's going to see it anyway. Okay, so then on the back of my card, quick fix right there. It's fixed up. I'm going to put some dimensionals, and I like 5. I like to put one in the center so the tummy of my card doesn't sag. Take all of those off. And then put this right here onto my card base. Just centered on there nicely. Now that I know that my card is all done, I'm going to take my paper, or my, well, paper snips that I save for ribbon, so my ribbon snips, and just trim my tails down to where I want them. I like that big wonky looking bow right there. I think it looks pretty good. I'm happy. And then all I have left, well, not all I have left, but I'm going to put the inside of my card on the inside. And then take those little resin dots and scatter those about. Let me find out here. This is better, I think. I like one down here, and then just a couple right up here. And there you go. So there's our second card. Let's bring back in that first card. Looks like this. Now, this is a really easy, now that you've seen it done, kind of card. So I did another card that looks like, hang on, let me unbury it. Looks like this. So you can imagine all the things that could spin around that flower. Now this stamp set here, or the butterfly, comes from the Positive Thoughts stamp set that has a die set called Nature's Thoughts that cuts out that butterfly for you. So if you're interested in making a card that has the butterfly, that's what I used on those. Same center. I use the glimmer paper, the rainbow glimmer paper, just a different color than the yellow because I didn't want yellow butterfly, yellow center. So there you go, you can do that. Now, a few important things that you need to know for club is the retirement list for the annual catalog will be out this Wednesday, March 23rd. So be sure and check our Facebook page. I'll try to post a link on there and you can go straight to the list. Let me get I had a notes here of other things I wanted to tell you. Ooh, and the end of April, your catalog will be at your front door. I'll mail you a catalog. If you're part of my stamp club, or if you've ordered with me in the last 6 months, I'll be sure and send you out a catalog. And the new catalog goes effective May 1st. So like I said, the retirement list for the annual catalog, March 23rd or Wednesday. And the new catalog, watch the mail for the end of April. I want to make sure I gave the Creative Treehouse credit for this card. Love this card. You can see all the supplies. I'm going to try to get them all onto my blog, Be Creative with Kathy, and all you have to do is search Stamp Club and you can find a supply list for everything. If you're interested in the magnets that I use for here, I'll put the link on our Facebook page. Alrighty, that's a lot. If you have any other questions, be sure and let me know. I think, let me real quick, and then I'll let you go. We find those specials. So the specials that's going on now, and all you have to do is go to my online store and click on the shop, and the special buttons is the Oceans of, or the Waves of Oceans. This is an early release, so this bundle will be in that catalog in May. And right now you can get designer series paper, foil paper, and gems to go with that. Now these three things are while supplies last. I don't think they will be in the next catalog. The All Together, which has the stamp set and the dies. Now in this case, the stamp set will be in the new annual catalog. The dies are while supplies last. The designer series paper, I believe, will be in the catalog. It does not say while supplies last. And we have those new skin tone blends that will be in the annual catalog. Although I know some of these are on back order, but they should be back shortly. And then the last thing, in March, they have a sale going on. The mini die cut machine is 20% off with a bunch of bundles. And this bundle right here, the Sweet Peach bundle, is the bundle we decided to use for May and June. Yes, so be sure and get your order in for the May and June bundle while it's on sale. And I don't even know if this would be on the retired list, but I find it hard to believe that it'll carry over as a bundle. Okay, lots of information. If you have any questions, be sure and let me know. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of my club, and I'll see you back next month. Talk to you then. Bye-bye.